Hey everybody, Britton from Percy here. I want to make this video to show you the bulk Amazon generator tool. We've just added this tool to Percy and we're really excited about it. I say that about every tool, but of course. Um, this is the bulk Amazon generator tool you're looking at here. And this is a real different kind of operation than the rest of Percy. If you have a few listings you need to make, you'll probably in Percy use the other tools here, the typical workflow, which might start with Keyword Wizard to do your keyword research, and then you might send those keywords over to the Amazon listing generator, and you would generate your listing here. If you have 15, 50, 250 listings to create or to optimize, that that process is going to get really tedious and it's going to start to take you a lot of time. So the point of this bulk listing generator is to let you do all the same things that you do in Percy. You have all the same kind of creative controls, but now you can do this in a spreadsheet format, which lets you organize all your product information across your catalog, and find keywords in a bulk way. You can do all of the keyword wizard stuff across all your listings at once, and then you can generate and optimize all of your listing copy at the same time as well. So it makes things way more efficient. A lot of you that have huge catalogs with 500, 1,000 listings, now you can use Percy to update or to create new listing copy for way more listings than you could before. Real quick, I'll show you how to get here. So if you log on to Percy, you'll be in the dashboard. You'll find this tool under the listing generator tab, and it's going to be right here, the bulk listing generator. You click it, and there's two ways you can use the tool. I'll drag this down so you can see a bit better. We have one-step generation and we have two-step generation. And the difference here is one step is going to do your keyword research and your listing generation all at one time. So you can give Percy all the inputs that you need, and Percy will do everything all at once in the same spreadsheet for you. If we open this menu and click the other one, this is the two steps. So the other option is a two-step method where first you'll do your keyword research all in bulk in one spreadsheet, and then you'll take that keyword research and bring it into the second step, which is listing generation. So this is sort of like the keyword wizard step, and step two is the listing generator tool. So if we were drawing the analogy to Percy's own tools, there's different merits to both of these, but we know from how folks have been doing bulk already that some folks want to just do it all at once, and then other folks want a little more control with the ability to check and to reorder the keywords, or maybe even you already have your keyword research. You don't want to use Keyword Wizard, so you want to go directly to listing generation. So however you want to use bulk, you can do it here in this tool. There's a lot to this process. We're basically combining everything in Keyword Wizard with everything in the Amazon Listing Generator all in one spreadsheet. So there's a lot to it. We've got templates to help you organize everything, but first I'll go back to the one step and I'll show you how this works. I'll try and make this as concise as possible, but there's a lot of detail. So maybe I can make some chapters in this video. The first thing to do is to grab this spreadsheet template link here. When you click this, it's going to open up a Google Sheet. We've organized everything for you to make this as easy as possible to organize. This first tab you'll see, I'll zoom in a bit if I can. This first tab is just instructions on what to do with this sheet. This is going to be a view only for you because we want to keep everything locked down and clean. So the first thing that you'll need to do is make a copy of this for yourself. So you can click File, make a copy right here. I'll zoom back out, we'll make a copy. And this is going to make your own version of this spreadsheet that you can use, and you can organize your product information right here in the spreadsheet, or if you want, you can download it yourself. So there's two tabs in this uh, one-step spreadsheet template. The first tab is just these instructions, and the second tab down here is where you're really going to do the work. This is the inputs that you need to use the one-step process. I'll go through all these columns in detail, but the basic layout here is we've got all these different input columns, and then when you process this file, Percy's going to add some new columns here on the right with your new listing copy. So we've got all these kinds of formatting and keywords columns here, and then Percy's going to add some columns like title, bullet 1, bullet 2, and so on. I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit. As I mentioned before, the one-step process is keyword research and listing generation put together. So we have a lot of inputs that we need to make this work right. I'll go through each one. There's a bit of explanation in the first row here, just so you can see what that data is supposed to be. And then this is just an example entry here, so you can see what kind of data it might look like in this row. I'll go column by column so you know exactly what this all is. Skew is optional. This is just if you need a separate number so you can tell what product is what in the outputs. A lot of folks with large catalogs have often very similar products. You might have 20 different desk phone models, and it's not easy to always tell which one is which by just the name of the product. So skew can help to keep everything organized, coming in and coming out. Next is ASIN. This is your own ASIN for your own listing if you have it. If this is a new listing, you won't have an ASIN yet. You can always add it later, but if you are optimizing a listing that's already up on Amazon, if you put your ASIN here, that means that Percy is going to track the organic ranks of your keywords for this ASIN day to day after you've generated the listing. So that just makes things easier to get your progress going forward. This next column is competitor ASINs. This is a keyword research column. So if I open up a new page of Percy, this might be easier to show you what these relate to in the app itself. So this competitor ASINs column here is the ASINs that you would have put in Keyword Wizard in the search bar. So you can put up to 9. You can separate them with commas or with new lines. If they're in a bunch of cells like this, you can just copy and paste them right in here like that. Likewise, the next column is a search keyword. So this is a root keyword if you were doing a search similar to magnet in Helium 10 or something like that. Just like in Keyword Wizard itself, in this spreadsheet, you need at least one of these columns need to have something to search. So Percy needs to know where you want to get raw keywords from. You can have both, that's great. But that's what these two columns are. This next column is market. This is just which marketplace are you looking for keywords in? And likewise, which marketplace are we going to track your keywords in if you gave us an ASIN. This is a drop down. So there are specific country codes that will go in here. This is probably actually a really good segue to a separate point. This is a drop down list, and if you put something else in here, if you put USA, for instance, instead of US, something would break. Percy would break. So anywhere where we have specific values that you should be choosing from, we've made it a drop down, not a free text box. So you'll see some of these other columns, we have drop downs. Whenever it's a drop down, make sure that you're not just putting random words in there. It needs to be one of the specific values that we've already got there. Likewise, you want to make sure that all of your column headers stay exactly as they're typed in here. So if you change the casing, it's gonna not register correctly. So that's why it's helpful to have this template, because you can add all your info here and just hit download, and you know it's going to work. Anyway, this is the market. So this is just pick the country that you're working in. Next, we've got the name of your product, the brand of your product, and the product details. These are pretty self-explanatory, but that corresponds to this field here, and the product details are this field here. So this is just any text information you have that will tell Percy what your product's all about. Copy and paste that in here. Next is the language. This is going to be used for the keyword research as well as for, of course, generating your listing. And this next column is strategy. This is the SEO strategy for your keyword research. I'm going to spend a bit of time just making sure that I'm explaining this, because strategy can mean a lot of things depending on who you're talking to. If I find some random listing we've got, strategy is in the keyword wizard step. So I'll click keyword wizard in this listing. Once you search in keyword wizard, the next step that we call keyword strategy, and it's how we sort the keywords from most important or most helpful for your listing to the ones that are least important on the bottom. We're doing that by combining different metrics together. So there are different choices you have about how you want to rank the different metrics. Which metrics do you want to use? Do you want to prioritize relevance and search volume, or keyword sales and SEO competition, whatever that might be? We have all these different keyword strategies laid out here in this dropdown. So if you go to keyword strategy and click it, if you're doing this at a one-on-one sense, this is how you would sort your keywords. In the bulk case, it's the same thing. You pick a different strategy, but you can choose different strategies here in this dropdown. So you can, if you wanted to, you could choose different strategies for different brands or different listings. I find most people just pick one that they like and they stick with it. Regardless, that's what this strategy column means. So this is how we're sorting the keywords in your keyword list from top to bottom. This next column is tone of voice. This is also a really important one, especially if you're using custom brand tones or custom brand guidelines. Not in the keyword section, but once we get to the listing generator section, I'll open up this listing in the generator. There's a tone of voice section here. We have 3 standard ones: friendly, professional, and technical. And they correspond to 3 sort of typical personalities that you might see on Amazon. Those are available as a drop-down. So we have friendly, formal, and technical as the three tone options there. However, we've recently added a custom brand tones option. So this goes beyond the personality of the writing in it, and it controls things like the formatting of your titles, the length of your bullets. It gives you a lot of control over how your listing is written. So it's almost more of a brand guidelines or a style guide than it is just a writing tone, but functionally it's how it works in Percy. You can use those custom brand tones in this bulk listing generator, which is really cool, because that means if you have 250 listings to write for this brand that has very specific formatting needs or language requirements, you can create a brand tone in Percy, save it, and then you can use that here in bulk generation across all of those listings, which is really cool. If you want to do that in the bulk generator, instead of using this drop down, so instead of going friendly, formal, or technical, you'll enter free text here. So I'm immediately going back on the rule that I told you just before. This is the one place you're going to use free text instead of the drop down. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to put custom underscore, and then whatever my brand tone might be. Custom underscore Britain brand, or however I saved that brand name in Percy here. So you can see all the names of your different brands here. That is how you'll use your custom brands tones and style guides in the bulk generator. For now, I'm going to copy this back and put friendly back there. So that's tone of voice. That gives you a lot of control over how your listing is written. Now we're into more of we're past all the keyword research input steps, and these columns are all related to the listing generator. So bullet length is pretty self-explanatory. This is 200 bytes. There's 250 and other choices there. Same thing for the title. You can choose how many character length you want your max title to be. So wherever you'll title max at. Bullet header style is another formatting option we have here in the listing generator. You can choose how you want these headers to be written in Perci. So do you want them to be sentence case or all caps? Do you want to use a dash or a colon there? We have a bit of a legend here so you can see which choice looks like what in your bullet header. So just use the drop down and you can choose one of these options for that. Description HTML, basically, if you want 3 paragraphs with HTML line breaks, that's the Perci default format for descriptions. You want to make sure this says 3. If you don't want any HTML line breaks, so that means just one single block of text, this should say 1. So in the back end of our systems, basically it means, do you want 3 paragraphs or do you want 1 paragraph? That's how we determine whether we put HTML in your description or not. So that's what this column is. The final inputs that you can consider are these bullet topics. And just like in the main Perci tool, these are optional. You don't have to put anything here. But they can be really useful, especially if you're generating or optimizing across a lot of listings. And for instance, you want to make sure that the data structure is the same across all of your bullets. So you want to make sure that bullet 1 always talks about the top feature. Maybe bullet 5, you want to make sure that always talks about the brand. This is a great way, especially in bulk, to standardize the way that your bullets are written. We've got some examples here. These work pretty well. So you might say, I always want bullet 1 to be the top use case. I always want bullet 2 to be the most important feature. I always want bullet 3 to be how to use it. Bullet 4 should always say what's in the box. And bullet 5 should say about our brand, for instance. What's great about this is you could then take this and drag it down through all of your 200 products or whatever it is, and then Perci's always going to make sure that your bullets are always adhering to this structure. So that's really cool. This is the whole input section for the one-step bulk generation. I know it's a lot of columns, but we're doing a lot of work here. So what you'll do now, once you've got all your rows organized, you'll go to File, and you'll download this, and you got to make sure you download it as a CSV. Excels will not process. We use CSVs in our backend, so make sure you download it as a CSV. That'll copy in, and I'll show you what's gonna get returned to you. Actually, you know what? Before I show you that, I'll show you what happens when you drop it in. So let's drag and drop this file here. Let's see, here's that file I just downloaded. So you either drag it from your desktop or you can click here to upload your file, and you can hit generate listings here. I'll click this so you can see what gets started. You can see we'll give you a little printout of your progress so you can see where Perci is in your file. So how many rows you've got. If you've got 50 rows, you'll see Perci working through row by row. While that's working, I'll just quickly note this email field here. Perci will automatically email the account email. So that might be a shared content team email. It might be a service email at your company. If you put a different email in here, we'll email that email instead. So if you have your own personal email or your own individual work email that you want to get this file delivered to, you can put this email in here, and we'll put the file when it's done into that inbox instead. When your file's done, you're going to get a download button here. So you can download the results file directly from Perci. If I click download, we're going to get that file. You're also going to get that file sent to your email. So I'm going to show you what the results look like. So this is a finished file. I already had it downloaded from processing what we just put in. So you'll see all the same inputs in the same columns that you had in your original file you uploaded, and you're going to see some new columns added to the right. This is the last column that we had inputted. This is our last bullet topic. And now here we see a title column. We see bullets, each in their own separate column. So there's bullet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'll see a column with all your descriptions. You'll see a backend keywords column. And then there's a few other columns that aren't customer facing content or, backend, but they're not copy, they're for you to check and make sure that there's no errors or that there's any issues. So restricted phrases found will tell you if there are any restricted phrases that we know Amazon doesn't like anywhere in the listing copy. So just like in the main app, Perci will throw you a big warning flag if there's something like eco-friendly. It'll highlight it red. If this was generated again, you'd have a big pop-up. If there's anything like that, whoops, where'd my window go? If there's anything like that in your generated listing, Perci will log it here. It'll say bullet 3, such and such a phrase, description, such and such a phrase. And this makes it really easy. If you have a huge batch that you've generated, you can quickly scan through and see if there's any that you want to take a look at and maybe edit yourself. This last column is used keywords. This is the exact phrase matches that have been incorporated into your listing. So I should actually back up. One thing that that happened in this process that I didn't note at first was this is the one part of your inputs that you didn't put in, but that Perci added itself as part of the process. So we did this keyword research in the background. So this is now attached to this listing. And to go back to the final column here, these are the keywords from that list that have been ticked off, checked. They are optimized in exact phrase form in the listing. So this is a handy thing that you can use for reporting or adding to your deliverable when you give this and hand this off. So these aren't things that you would be uploading anywhere, but it's helpful things for you to sort of have a quick glance down your entire list and audit in your listing. So this is the final output that you get from the bulk generation process in the one-step setting. The two-step setting is pretty similar. I won't go into just as much detail there because most of it's the same, but I do think it's worth just showing you what's different in case you want to use that one. So if I go back to the Perci page, the bulk Amazon generator, if I drop down on this menu and I click two steps, it's going to look pretty similar, but instead of one upload field, one upload section, we have two upload sections. There's step 1, keyword research, and there's step 2, listing generation. I'll close these other windows, and if I click the template link here, I'm going to get a different Google Sheets template because we're using different upload file structures for this. So this will look pretty similar. There's some instructions here about what to do step by step. The first thing I'm going to do is click File, make a copy. And then the main thing you'll notice is that instead of only one tab of spreadsheet product info, we have two tabs. We have one tab that's the bulk keyword research, and then another tab that's bulk listing generation. And I'll show you what comes out this step. So here's a spreadsheet that we were working on today. This is an example of what you'd get back from this this first step. Here are all the ASINs we had. Here's our product information, our details, and then you get one column that has all the main keyword lists. So these are just like in that one step column I showed you with the final keyword research, these are all sorted in order of strategy. So this is the final keyword list we're going to be working with. And you'll also have a column of backend keywords. This will often be empty. What would go in here is any misspellings and any foreign languages that we find and filter out of the bulk keyword process. So listing by listing, we go through and do the keyword wizard steps, and we will automatically set aside any misspellings and any foreign language keywords to use into your backend. So that's what this column is. If there is anything here, great, you can use it. Otherwise, you can leave it empty. What you want to do with this is you'll grab the entire column that you get from keywords and you'll copy it. And you're going to take that whole column, which is the end result of this whole step. This is your keyword research. You're going to go to the bulk listing generation tab, and you're going to copy all those keywords into the SEO keywords column here. So this is us getting our keyword research incorporated into our listing generation. Then the only thing left to do after that, we'll copy the backend keywords if there's any that you get from step one, and then you'll just go through and add your details, add your product name and things like that. You'll make sure that you've got language and tone of voice selected for all the rows. Put any bullet topics if you want. And then just like with the other steps, you'll download this as a CSV. You will then send this downloaded file into the listing generation step. You'll hit generate, and I'll show you what comes out from the listing generation step. You're going to get the same kinds of columns that you got from the one-step process. So if I zoom in here, you'll get a column with all your titles, column with all your bullet ones, bullet twos, descriptions, backend keywords, and you're going to get, just like in the one-step process, you're going to get any restricted phrases, you're going to get used keywords. That's all for this video. So I'll link this video here so you can watch it over and over if it helps. Likewise, if there's any other help I can be, if there's any questions that I can assist with, shoot me an email at britton.perci.ai. I can hop on a call and chat you through it, and we can look at your spreadsheets. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll chat to you soon. See ya.